Here we go.
1 second. It says preparing to live stream the meeting.
Yep.
Setting up. Done.
Here we go.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders Worldwide Online Toastmasters Club. Our club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Worldwide is designed for politicians, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as anyone who wants to make their message heartfelt and authentic. Core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters, where leaders are made.
I'd like to unmute, but first I'd like to also introduce our past president, Cynthia Stott. Cynthia?
Sorry, I wasn't ready. Talha,
sorry.
can you do the introductions, please?
Okay, I'd like to
Wait a minute.
introduce our past president, Talha. You ready, Talha? Can you do the introduction for Cynthia, please?
Sorry, can you come again?
I said, could you do the introduction? Cynthia couldn't do it for whatever reason.
All right. All right. Apologies. Yeah. So, welcome everyone to this meeting of Leaders Worldwide. It is a very, very special meeting today, on a very special day for all the right and all the wrong reasons. For better or for worse, today, the day actually resulted in a complete change of course of world history all those years ago. And today we are about to explore the various dimensions of what happened today and how to move forward. The meeting theme for today is moving forward globally, and I welcome you all to this meeting. But before that, I would like to introduce the guests. So, going by, in no particular order, I would ask guest Maiya Guerrero, hope I got your pronunciation right, to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you so much. You have that pronunciation perfectly. And my name is Maiya, and I'm a Toastmaster in Southern California in Riverside. I'm part of the Club 797, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you, Maiya, with us today. We have our guest, Maiya. Would you like to introduce yourself? Yes, Maiya Hari, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Maiya. This is Maiya Harim from Zenith Toastmasters, Karachi, Pakistan. And I look forward to this meeting. It's more like on the topic that is very, you can say, tricky, but I look forward to the fact that this meeting is able to, in a positive light, it's able to reflect and, have a good impact. I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Toastmaster Maiya. Next, I'll ask our guest, Mohammad Asghar, to introduce himself.
Thank you, Talha bin Hamid. My name is Mohammad Asghar. I'm a member of Karachi Toastmaster Club, and I'm here to attend this meeting. This is my first time to attend it. I hope I will enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Asghar. And Toastmaster Irfan Farooqi, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Irfan Farooqi. I'm Toastmaster from Pakistan, and my club is a corporate club called Centurion. Today's topic, not only in reference to 9/11, is very important for the world, but also very important at my personal level because today is my birthday. So I'm enjoying my birthday with everybody here.
What a day to have a birthday, Toastmaster Irfan. All right. Thank you so much. And I believe we have Cynthia back with us. So it's time to hand over the proceedings. Oh, okay.
I'm the moderator today. If you could be the
Yeah.
president.
All right.
Thank you.
Apologies. Thank you so much. Anyhow, so I believe we are through with the guests. We have, we also have guest Hannah Schmidt. Please introduce yourself, madam.
Yes, good morning and good evening. I'm Hannah. I'm here from Namibia, halfway between Pakistan and California. I'm a club here of my home country and a club in Canada. Thank you. I've been a Toastmaster for 12 years, and I have also achieved my DTM. Thank you. Over to you.
Wow, great to have you once again. Always a delight to have you, Toastmaster Hannah. And now it is time for me to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, who needs no introduction, and therefore I'll go on to introduce her. She is none other than one of the founding members of Leaders Worldwide, and more importantly, immediate past District Director of District 57. Please put your hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Carolyn Douglas. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much. Happy day, everyone. It's so good that you have taken this time to be a part of this particular Toastmasters meeting. Today, we have a wonderful theme, and we are looking at moving forward. This was 9/11. 9/11 is the day and date that is etched into the world's memory. But instead of looking at negativity, we're moving forward, and we have a wonderful panel discussion that will precede what is going on during the day. In order for us to move forward and make sure we have plenty of time for all of the things we want to do today, I'm going to ask our evaluation functionaries to give a description of their role. So once again, our theme is 9/11 moving forward. Our grammarian, our counter, and word of the day will be given by Sally Reyes. Sally, will you give us a description of your role?
Thank you so much. My favorite thing is wordsmithing, so it's my honor to listen to your speeches and see where you are inserting perhaps useless words that will take up too much time. And when you realize that you are habitually doing it, it will quickly fade away. And I listen for ums and ahs and other unnecessary words. But our word of the day is progression. And that is to move forward continuously. So we don't stand back in the horrors of 9/11, but figure out solutions. And I also look for special words, unique ones, very seldom used. So I will try to catch those and reward you for discussing those unusual words. Thank you so much. Back to you, Carolyn.
Thank you so much. We also have, as a functionary, our timer, and our timer for today is Denise Rae DeGregoire. Anyhow, I will not ask Denise to give a full definition of her role today. There are various levels of this timing that will be done. But what I'd like to do is to let you know who the timer is, how you will identify the timer. If you look in the upper, on my screen, it's the upper left hand, then you will see her hand raised and you will see her picture. So Denise is our timer for today. Now let's move forward because we have an amazing panel discussion that is going to be held. We have a moderator that will facilitate this panel, and our moderator is Cynthia Stott, DTM. Cynthia Stott is one of the division directors right here in District 57. And she is going to be working on, for her project, her Toastmasters project, visionary communication. It's a level 5 project, and it's to moderate a panel discussion. And the title of the whole thing is 9/11 panel. Let me give you the introduction, and once I give the introduction, I will turn it completely over to Cynthia so that you will know who her panel members are. She will introduce each one in due course. Cynthia Stott worked at the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco as a consumer protection examiner and analyst. She was working at the Federal Reserve on 9/11, and that was an amazing day for all of us. So now I want to turn it over to our moderator, Cynthia Stott. Cynthia.
Thank you so much. Our amazing Toastmaster of the day, DTM and past District Director, Carolyn Douglas. I'm here today to moderate this panel so that we can reclaim the day and move forward globally, because we have a global group here today. And we are going to be talking about things that maybe you think Toastmasters don't talk about. Don't talk about religion or sex or violence, but you can talk about anything in Toastmasters as long as you use the Toastmasters core values, which are, say them with me, integrity, respect, excellence, and service. IRESE. And Toastmasters believes that integrity is of the utmost, and they will not say rise. They won't say respect, integrity, service, and excellence, because they want integrity to be the first. So integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Great. And today we're going to do our timer today is Denise. And if you could lower your hand and raise your hand so we can reset the timer on the electric hand so you won't be interrupted and pushed down, that would be great. Lower it and then raise it again. And round one are going to be these beautiful tribute speeches, which are 3 to 4 minutes. And at 3 minutes, she's going to raise the green card, green. And at 3.5 minutes, she's going to raise the yellow card. And at 4 minutes, she's going to raise the red card, and the speakers have 30 seconds to wrap up. Great. So round one, let's start it. And let me read the introduction for our first panelist, which is DeMarie Shy King. And if we could have DeMarie spotlighted, that would be great. Spotlight me, Anne. DeMarie would be awesome. Hi, DeMarie. DeMarie Shy King is an area director, D3 of District 57, two-time Triple Crown winner for the 2022-2023 in two different districts. That means she got a level 5 to get here in our district 57, and then she also did in her district. So she had at least 6 levels completed last year. Amazing. She is a published author and a mental health professional, international motivational speaker, and certified domestic violence facilitator. She is the founder and CEO of Victims Over Violence, LLC, which she advocates for victims of domestic violence. So she is our very first panelist, and she's going to be speaking with us about a shattered dream. D. Marie Shy King, a shattered dream. A shattered dream, D. Marie Shy King. Over to you.
Have you ever had a dream shattered, torn to pieces, right before your very eyes and in broad daylight? I contend that if you live in the United States on this day in 2001, you may have witnessed just that. Let me ask you, where were you at 8:45 in the morning on that day? In 2001, the Twin Towers were destroyed. They had been erected in 1973. There were 110 stories. And those 2 iconic buildings pierced up into the sky and stood as an evidence of the hub of financial transactions, the banks, and Wall Street, only 3 blocks away. The World Trade Center was the hub of finances for the world over. And it was apparent that the perpetrator thought if they brought down the finances of a nation and the economy, they would control that nation. Little did they know about the resilience and the fortitude of the American people. We stood tall, and my message today is never forget, but move forward in positivity, because we can make a difference. And as I researched my information about the Twin Towers and about that day, so much was made present to me. And you never know where you're going to go in your research of history, because I learned, as history taught me, that on December 13th of 1711, the World Trade Center, as we know it, and Wall Street was mandated by the New York City Council to be the site where indigenous people and slaves were traded. I didn't know that, but I have already said that when you know better, you do better. So what we've decided today is we never forget, but we move forward in positivity. The citizens of the United States band together. We instituted Homeland Security, which assured that we would never go down that street again. And now what had become known as Ground Zero is the tranquil sound that you will hear of 2 waterfalls. Twin waterfalls is what they're called. There are 400 white oak trees in this area. And there are parapets, which means that the names of the some 3,000 people are inscribed along the edge of the waterfall. You can go there in solace. You hear the water that is calming, and you can pay homage to those people who gave their lives on that day. But today I bring a different message. I ask you to join me as we band together to make certain that one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, stands as our mantra. Because if you will use your voices along with me so that we can collectively move forward, not forgetting the past, but making sure that the future is going to give us the information and the fortitude that we need to move forward in strength and together, united. Let's use our voices to collectively make a difference. I know that we can do that. We can protect, progress, and defend the only democracy that we know, which we call America. Won't you join me today in that effort? Let's stand tall and be who we know that we can be. We will never forget, but we know that we can move together and progress in excellence. Madam Timer.
Great. Thank you so much. And Denise, our timer, can you please put 1 minute on the clock so that our evaluators, which is Cassandra, will be evaluating DeMarie. And in the audience, if you want to put in the chat what you thought about that amazing presentation, that would be great. Is 1 minute up?
No, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Time 1 minute, please. 1 minute from now is fine. Yeah, so in the audience, if you want to put in the chat a message for DeMarie and how she did and how it impacted you, that would be great. And remember, we are all world citizens, and I know from everyone in America heard about it, but everyone all around the world heard about it. From the sheep herders in Kenya to the merchants in Pakistan, everyone heard about it and was impacted. And that's 1 minute on the clock. Great. Thank you so much. Next up, we're going to have our second presenter, which is Alex Balish. And if we could spotlight him as I read his introduction. Alex Balish started his career as an EMT, Emergency Medical Technician, at Summit Emergency Medical System, where he became a crew chief, as well as working with the American Red Cross, where he was the youth services coordinator and led caseworkers and lead caseworker at the Summit area chapter during 9/11, where he responded for over 32 cases, both in New York as well as the Pentagon. Alex Balish's speech is Looking Back to Move Forward, Remembering 9/11. Alex Balish, looking back to move forward, remembering 9/11. Looking back to look forward, remembering 9/11. Alex Balish, you have the floor.
It was a beautiful, no clouded day. It was probably one of the most clear days I've ever seen. I went to work, and like most people, we all know the story. And how did it impact everyone? When you look at this event, you look at it in a bubble. It was probably one of the worst events in the history of America, only second to Pearl Harbor and the Civil War. That said, everybody has a personal story. This event didn't only affect the Northeast. There was somebody from every single state in the Union affected by this disaster. When you have loss, it's one that you can never really get over. Once the food goes away, you're supposed to be cured. That's never the case. When you lose someone, I was always taught it gets easier over time. No, it doesn't get easier. It just gets more tolerable. The anger, the red that people felt during that time, those 102 minutes changed the face of everything. Why was it a 102? from the first impact until the last thing that happened of the falling of the towers and the Pentagon. That's how long it took. Only 102 minutes. We have a responsibility, like our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, to never forget. The same way we don't forget about Pearl Harbor, the same way we don't forget about D-Day. I talked to my daughter today. I brought her to many memorial. She just forgot. And I'll give her some grace because she's 8, but we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. Because it's not enough to read it in a book. It needs to be in that fabric. How do we move forward? We move forward by talking about it. We move forward by change. We don't want to repeat the mistakes again. That's why by speaking about it, history won't repeat itself. And that's how we move forward. We move forward by doing talks, by putting that positive spin on it, and remembering those that passed away that day, that worked in the pits, that worked outside of the pits, the family members. Everyone together is part of this. Because the fact is, folks, the greatest disaster wasn't 9/11. It's the one that you're involved in. And you've got September 11th, which is the worst day. And then you have September 12th. That was probably one of the best days because America came together for once in a long time. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. Excellent. And can we have 1 minute on the clock, please? And you can make your comments in the chat, either privately or to Alex or to everyone. And yes, it impacted the entire world and even the Earth itself. The magnetic field for the Earth changed on that day because of all of the compassion coming from human hearts. And it has been measured by scientists and reported by HeartMath Institute. So we made a difference in the world that day with our compassion. Thank you so much. 31 minute. Okay, next up we have our third panelist, which is Cassandra Garabedian. And if we could spotlight her, please. Cassandra Garabedian is a fashion stylist, image consultant, former runway model in Milan, Italy, candidate for her teacher's certification with Unity Ministries, 4-time international best-selling author, international speaker, and the vice president spearheading the Leaders Worldwide Education Department. Today, her speech is called The Pillars. Cassandra I'm overcome with emotion already and compassion. Cassandra Garabedian, The Pillars. The Pillars, Cassandra Garabedian. You have the floor.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay. Come, join me in a hot cup of tea and silent reflection while we reflect on the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. As I reflect back on the activities of that morning, I was excited that morning. It was my dad's birthday. And after work, my sisters and I and cousins and nephews and nieces all were going to gather at my mother's house to celebrate my dad's birthday. Like all mornings, my morning started at 4 o'clock in the AM in meditation and prayer. That was my way of gathering myself and grounding myself in prayer and thought. It was my way of standing in truth for the day, but also in being in gratitude and knowing that I was one with Source. And also to know that thou shalt love thy neighbor, and knowing that that's a hard thing to do at times, but always attempting at that end, always trying to that straight and narrow, always trying to reach that goal. And some of my best meditations and prayers are done in the shower. So as I was standing there in the shower in prayer and meditation, and the water hitting my face, and as I'm in prayer and in meditation, that water hitting is just making me go more and more deeper in meditation, and it's actually creating more of a sensation, and that tingling, it's intensifying the tingling sensation. So as I'm coming out of my meditation and in prayer, I said, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for receiving that answer that I received. And it was the pillar. The pillar. I thought about Lot's wife. How ironic. Lot's wife. I didn't think much about it. But it just shows you how you can see things before they happen, but you don't know the meaning. So I went on, got out of the shower, got dressed, kissed my husband bye. We went to work. I proceeded downstairs, got my coffee, came back upstairs, turned on the TV because I wanted to get the traffic report before heading out to Pleasanton. And in doing so, flipped on the TV and couldn't believe my eyes. I looked in disbelief. What? I was in shock.
Wow.
I'm still in disbelief.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
And there it was.
Beautiful.
So I asked you one thing. I'm not sure where's Denise. Denise, where am I?
Your
I'm
time
thinking
is up.
about-
Your time is up.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful, very beautiful. And can we have 1 minute on the clock for the evaluators? And then please enter some information in some response in the chat for that beautiful, impactful speech from Cassandra. And in a moment, we're going to move to the Q&A. So if you have questions for our panelists, type in your questions in the chat, and then we'll also have some brief time for people to come on mic. But if you have questions, please enter them in the chat now, and then I will read them out to our panelists. Okay, thank you, timer. Appreciate that. And so in the interest of time, we're going to skip the first question about what you were doing, but we really heard from you what you were doing on 9/11. But this next question, and you have 1 to 2 minutes to respond. So green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2 minutes. And you have 30 seconds to wrap up. The question is, how can we move forward from 9/11, even 22 years after the fact? How can we move a little bit more forward after 9/11? And this question is for Dee Marie.
As I pointed out in my discussion or my presentation, we have a responsibility as citizens of a country that aspires to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a great responsibility. And that responsibility is to work together for good, work together for change, and work together to realize the dream that was shattered on September 11 of 2001. We don't have to give up that dream just because the Twin Towers are no longer there. The United States was the financial hub of the world. And I contend that we have reestablished ourselves at this moment in time in that position. But it took swift action on our part. It took instituting our homeland security and making sure that we became more vigilant, that we were more aware of what was going on around us, and that we band together to make it happen. So in this time and in this moment, as members of Toastmasters, we know that we all have a voice. Let's use it. Back to you.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful response. And for Alex, what can we do to move forward from 9/11?
I believe the best way you can move forward is to make sure that you always remember to look back. Like I said, the greatest day was September 12th. People wanted to help people. People forgot all of their biases. We need to get back to the greater good. And I think what we did by having legislation and being more protective of our surroundings is great, but we need to not forget so that we don't slip back into complacency. And I think that's the main thing about preparedness is complacency. If we just do that 1% every day, and we do it as an individual, as a group, as a country, as a world, all those 1% actually add up to a lot more percent. Thank you.
Wonderful response. Thank you, Alex. And now, Cassandra, same question. How can we move forward from 9/11?
To search your own hearts and bodies and minds. Stop blaming others. You need to start doing a little soul searching yourself. There's a lot of blame to be spread around, but start looking, number one, at yourself. To search man's own integrity and character, just as back in the biblical days when they looked at Lot's wife and their time. I say look at man's integrity and character during Lot's time and compare it to man's behavior as it is today. There's a lot of comparison that we can do during the biblical times as well as today, and we can see a lot of comparisons. We still have a lot to learn, lessons to be learned here today that we haven't learned. I mean, we repeat ourselves over and over and over, and there's lessons that we still haven't learned, and the mistakes they keep repeating themselves. Until we learn those lessons, they're gonna still repeat themselves. There's a lot of power that people are still striving after. There's a lot of money that people still strive after, and we can't take it with us. Why do they just keep striving after all these things? I mean, they're good in the world, but you can't take it with you. And people still strive for that power hungry, money hungry. It's greed. Look at what's happening in the world today. Look at what's all happening today. Just think about it. It's nuts. And for what? Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. That was beautiful. Beautiful, Cassandra and Alex and Dee Marie. So now we're going to do Q&A. I'm going to start with the chat that we have in the chat. We have, I can't see the chat. Can somebody else read the chat for me? Our Toastmaster of the day, Carolyn Douglas, can you read the chat? Because I can't see it for some reason.
Well, there are no questions in the chat at all. Comments from Maiya Katherine says, love the title, The Pillars. Guest Maiya H says, my heart bleeds for you all, The Pillars. And then guest Maiya also says, lessons will keep repeating until we learn it.
Exactly.
Beautiful thought and something I advocate with. However, I have some questions, and I really would like for us to come into today, because this has been many years. What do each one of you panelists see that is a positive, progressive step forward in our lives as a result of what has happened? I mean, I appreciate that you have your own experience of what that day was like, but what do you see now that is moving forward?
Cassandra?
That we actually have, look at what we have here. We have a global community.
Tell me
here.
exactly what that is.
We have all nationality, but just about all the different nationalities here that are and ethnicities that are here, people of different cultures that are here that are actually talking.
Okay.
That we wouldn't see here before. That there's hope here. That people have come in to say, well, we're here and we want to see what's going to happen. We're inquisitive. We want to hear what's going to be said. So they've come here with an open heart, a willingness to listen. So I thought that was positive.
Okay.
they weren't closed off. They were like, no, they didn't say, oh no, that's hopeless. They're not going to say anything that's going to be abuse. They didn't turn a deaf ear to it. So I'm hopeful on that extent. They gave us a chance. They didn't say, oh, those Americans.
Alex, DeMarie, any comments?
Yeah, no, I can definitely step in. In terms of positivity from 9/11, it brought people together, yes, but I think it also opened the eyes of the world that there are many threats, and threats have to be looked at in new ways. We are a different world than we were in the 70s, in the 80s, heck, in the 90s. I think the biggest problem with this current world is there's no face of the bad guy. Yes, we had bin Laden, whatever else, but the fact is there's no face because it's a movement. It's not it's different than it was in World War II. It's different than it was in World War I, where it's us against them. It's us against, it's almost like a Vietnam. And with that, the technology has to change, and the way we have security has changed as well. Some people say it's a little excessive. Others people say it's saved lives. The problem with change is if it's working, you'll never hear the bad stuff. And that's the good thing and the bad thing. And it comes back to what I said before. If you don't hear anything, it seems like it's not working. And that's when you get complacent. And that's the exact opposite. So that's where I think we need to focus in on.
Yeah.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
And how about DeMarie? We have just 2 minutes left.
So my thinking is that how it affected us is that it caused us to do a wake-up call. We received a wake-up call. We had never had violence and fighting on the shores in such a long time that, as Alex stated, we had become complacent. But 9/11 was a wake-up call. We knew that we had to rise to the occasion, and by God's grace, we did that as a nation. Everybody complained about 9/11 and all the things that you were having to do when you went into the airports, all that excessive searching and all of that kind of thing. But we knew we had to be vigilant. The time was calling for us to really be aware of our surroundings. If you see something, say something. Don't sit and let it just pass by. Get involved. Be a part of your own democracy. Democracy is a fragile thing, and it takes all of us working to preserve it.
Well, Cynthia, thank you so much, Cynthia. There's one other question, and I'll leave it up to you. The question reads, how much it is difficult to move on after any personal loss that's very close to you in terms of relationships.
And that comes from our guest, Shaki. So
Yes.
because of time, we need to delay that to our after party. So I'm going to invite the Toastmaster, and then we're going to do evaluations, and then we're going to have an after party, and I will answer. I'll answer. The panelists can answer. Whoever can stay, we can stay for the after party after. So I'm going to send it back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
All right, we want to give a hand to our moderator and the panelists for what they've shared with us so far. Now it's time for the evaluative portion of our meeting, and we have our general evaluator, Talha bin Hamid, to lead us in that. Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. It is time for general evaluation. As we all know, evaluation is the crux of Toastmasters, and it's what makes Toastmasters Toastmasters. Without further ado, since we are running slightly behind time, I will ask our timer to explain the timing for each evaluation. which is 2 to 3 notes. So if you could please display the colors for our evaluators.
Oh, see, I'll do that because we need to be fast about it. Green at 2 minutes, yellow is at 2.5, and red is at 3, and they have 30 seconds to round it up. Back to
Perfectly
you.
done. Thank you so much. Absolutely fantastic synchronization between the audio and the visuals there. It is time to hear our first evaluator, who is Cassandra Garabedian. So she will be evaluating our panelist number 1, Dee Marie. So over to you, Cassandra.
Sure. Dee Marie, I loved your speech. It was very impactful. It was very informative. You gave a lot of information in the short amount of time that you had. I love the information in regards to what happened during 1700s with trade for indigenous people in the slave trade for Wall Street. I love the part where your vocal variety and in which you allowed us to the effects that you gave with your voice. That lent a lot with how you provided the way you carried your voice with it. It lent a lot to the speech. So I love the vocal variety is very impactful. I love the way you changed the way you the essence in which you provided the information. It was nice. I loved you stood up. That Lynn, your gestures. That was really great. Just your choice of words was nice. Your word choice was very nice. And what else? Your organization was very nice. How you synced the way you synced up your choice of wording and how you landed and organized your speech was very nice. Overall, you did an excellent job. Thank you. You were very engaging. Sweet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Cassandra, for that full evaluation. It's time to invite our next evaluator, who is Dee Marie, and she will be evaluating our second panelist, Alex Balish. So over to you, Dee Marie.
So Alex is one of my favorite speakers, and I thoroughly enjoyed his presentation today. He started out by describing nature, and that is something that I'm definitely a fan of. It was a beautiful, clear day. Everybody can relate to that. And then all of a sudden, everything was pierced. It reminded him of Pearl Harbor or the Civil War, when out of the blue, these things just happened. But he said everyone has a story to tell, and disaster touches everyone. He said he has been told that it gets easier over time, but that is not true. Because each time 9/11 comes around, these memories are still haunting. They're there. He remembers the anger that existed on that day. And he said there was 102 minutes from the time that the first plane hit and the last vestiges of what happened in Pennsylvania and at the Pentagon took place. But he said that in all of that, we are never to forget. We have a responsibility, just as we remember D-Day and Pearl Harbor, to remember 9/11. He said we need to talk about it and we need to move forward with change. He has an 8-year-old daughter that he has taken the time to explain 9/11 to. Imagine that. But the title of his speech alone is enough to draw you in. Looking back, and the first thing you think of when he says that is to look back. But you're looking back to move forward as you remember 9/11. Because if we don't know where we came from, we certainly don't have a clear understanding of where we need to go. He said that we need to honor those that passed away, that gave their lives on that day. If I were to offer any feedback to Alex, I would ask him to stand first of all. Because when you stand, you command the stage, you command the space that you're in, and you ask people to pay you closer attention. And the only other recommendation that I would have to draw his audience in, you may consider opening with a question or opening with a statement that would have the audience to respond to you or in some way. That would have been phenomenal. But overall, I loved your speech and it was great. And I could understand how all the tenets of your speech fit in because of the fact that you're an EMT. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you so much, Dee Marie. Our next evaluator would be Toastmaster Alex Balish, and he would be evaluating our third panelist, Cassandra Garabedian. Over to you, Alex.
Yeah. Cassandra, I learn more. One of the things about Toastmasters that I love is I learn a little bit more about everybody. And one thing that I've told people, and I love that you talked about it because it's the truth. People had birthdays on 9/11. People passed away. People were born. And you made that personal about your faith, about your family, about the event. And that is what made it so wonderful to listen to. You have a way of weaving a story that is engaging. And I think that when you talk, people want to hear. And how you use your faith and your meditation really made that what it was. If I could offer some advice, one is I know you don't want to get it wrong. So you like to, and I'm just as guilty of it, looking down. What I would recommend is you put it up on the screen. Either if it's a piece of paper to the left of the camera or to the right of the camera, or you put it, if you have it on Word, put it right in Word. The other thing is to progress forward is I just got knocked for it as well. Stand up. I know I'm just as guilty of it. My setup isn't what I switched my setup. So my setup was all screwy, but I think if you decided to do that, it might help the looking straight at the audience. And the last thing I would say is, and I've been guilty of this as well, is to make sure you know where the timer is, because sometimes when you don't say something, nobody knows, and you just have to cut it off. And no greater reason is when you see that green sign like I am right now, it's time to go.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, our dear evaluators. If I dare say so, the evaluations as beautiful as the speeches themselves. Let's move on to our grammarian / word of the day / accountant, Sally Reyes, for her report.
Thank you so much, Talha. This was a very moving record of passionate words. So I was so busy noticing fantastic, moving expressions. But right now, the word of the day progression. I have 4 for Alex. I have Cynthia 4. I have Carolyn 1, DeMarie 4, and Cassandra 4. 1, actually, 4 ums. And the things that brought out to me is essence. I think that what a fantastic word. The complement responsibility, disaster impact fabric, the fabric of who we are. What a dynamic thought. And me repeating. Impactful compassion, unfortunate fortitude, excellence, vestiges, vigilant, fantastic, emotional words that are a joy to hear from so many people. Thank you. It's stirring to my heart.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you so much, Sally, for doing a sterling job as always. Next, it is our timer, Denise DeGregoire. Over to you for your report.
Oops.
You're muted, Denise.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
So thank you, Toastmaster, for round 1 tribute. It was 3 to 4 minutes. DeMarie was at 4 minutes, 15 seconds within range. Alex was 4 minutes, 11 seconds within range. Cassandra was 5 minutes and 10 seconds, 40 seconds over. And then round 2 was 1 to 2 minutes. The round 2 question, DeMarie was at 1 minute, 19 seconds within range. Alex was at 1 minute, 20 seconds within range. And Cassandra was at 2 minutes, 10 seconds within range. And then the
evaluations.
The evaluations were 2 to 3 minutes. Cassandra was 2 minutes and 17 seconds within range. DeMarie was 2 minutes and 45 seconds within range. Alex was 2 minutes and 29 seconds within range. The audience Q&A was 5 minutes. And it came in within range. Is that where? This is my second time doing this. Is that okay?
You're
Back
good to go.
Toastmaster.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that meticulous report.
Thank you.
And now it is time for the general evaluation of the meeting itself. Honestly speaking, it seemed a little bit churlish to evaluate this meeting at all, because it was such a beautiful and heartfelt discussion and sharing. I would just like to add my 2 cents here. The 9/11 incident and many ugly incidents like that are a result of just one wrong assumption, and that is one act of violence justifies another. Not only 9/11 resulted from that, but the world got so much worse and ugly as a result of 9/11. Who gained? No one gained and everyone lost. Even in our country, you cannot enter a mall without getting a security scan. You have TSA security scans at your airports. We have such security scans in our hotels. So everybody suffered. We are much the worse for it. And the people who actually perpetuated it And the people who actually caused it and who resulted in the causes of it should contemplate what did they gain and what did their children gain out of it. This meeting was a work of genius because all the three panelists were doing their pathway projects, and that is the perfect way to move the needle while having an absolutely phenomenal meeting. My only piece of advice or improvement area is that we are quite a bit way behind schedule today. But honestly speaking, I don't really mind because I don't think that even a single second of this meeting was wasted. So I must thank all the participants and everyone who participated in arranging this meeting. I thought we all learned a lot about moving on. I will finish just by saying that in the Holy Quran, there is a verse which says that there is ease with every difficulty. Not after every difficulty, but with every difficulty. So we have birthdays today. And that alone is a message from God that yes, we should look back and learn, but we should also learn to take the lessons and move on. With that, I will also praise all the panelists, the moderator, and the role players who perform their roles to perfection. Really, there is really nothing to complain about in today's meeting. You all made the GE's job very, very easy. So that brings my general evaluation to an end. And I believe it is time now to for any announcements that our VPE needs to make or to confirm roles for the next meeting.
We'll do that in the after party if we could adjourn.
All right.
Is there any announcements? Any announcements we need to make? I think we're good on announcements. Okay, you can adjourn and then we'll start our after party. I do want to say thank you to our Zoom host, Maiya Katherine. This was her second time that she was the host and the first time that she controlled the whole meeting, including the live stream to YouTube. And she did an excellent job.
All right, Maiya Katherine.
And Denise was her second time only being a timer. And the timing was really hard. It was very difficult for me to even make the agenda because the timing was so difficult and we were running over time. So yeah. And Nadine?
Yes, hi Cynthia. You were asking if there are any announcements. I was thinking the panel discussion for next week is an announcement.
Remind me, say your announcement.
I was reminding you to speak about the panel discussion for next week.
What panel discussion for next week? I don't understand. I'm clueless, sorry.
Oh, okay, you don't remember. So you guys are speaking about pathways, DTM.
Oh, that's not a panel discussion. That is 3 speeches. Yes.
Yes. So I was reminding you yeah.
So Cassandra is speaking about Triple Crown. I'm speaking about OATM, and DeMarie is speaking about DTM and pathways. Great. Thank you, Nadine. I'm clueless. 3 speakers. Yes.
Maiya Katherine. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Maiya Katherine.
Oh, that was Nadine that just said that.
Oh.
Nadine was the one that announced it. Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you, Maiya Katherine, for doing an amazing job on the Zoom. Yeah, that's
You're
all the
welcome.
announcements. So do you want to adjourn us?
I think we should adjourn the meeting so that we can get to the after party. So, yes. So, the meeting is formally adjourned, provided I do have I opened the meeting as the presiding host, right? So, yeah, I do have the authority to adjourn it. So, yeah, The meeting is formally adjourned and the after party officially commences.
And we can stop our YouTube live streaming. So